In this video, I want to talk about gear recommendations for a hunter making their first ever DIY elk hunt, but it's not exactly what you think. Stay tuned. Alright, so welcome back. As I mentioned, this is a video in which we're going to discuss gear recommendations for somebody making their first time DIY elk hunt, but it's a little different in that I'm soliciting your opinions. I was recently invited by a couple of friends of mine. My buddy Adam invited me to do a DIY Colorado elk hunt this fall, and I'm really excited about it. This is a type of hunt that I've wanted to do, dare I say, my whole bow hunting career. I started bow hunting in, I won't age myself, but let's just call it a long time ago. I of course started TexasBowhunter.com. I've hunted many different places for whitetail all over the state. I've hunted exotics. I've shot nilgai and I've shot a black buck. But one hunt that is on my bucket list is a Western States elk hunt. And I finally have an opportunity to do it. For years, either work got in the way, I had family obligations, different things prevented me from doing such a hunt. But I decided this year that if the opportunity presented itself, I was going to take advantage of it. So this is going to be a little bit different video, a little experimental video, in the fact that I'm soliciting your recommendations. Those of you who are experienced in Western States hunting, I want to solicit your opinions and get your recommendations on the type of gear that I need. When we started TexasBowhunter.com in 1999, we intentionally wanted to create a place where we had an interactive community, and that's why we developed the discussion forum, and we had one of the fastest growing and still most active internet discussion forums dedicated to bow hunting, and specifically here in Texas, but there's a whole lot of people here in Texas that go out and hunt the Western States as well. So I'll be soliciting opinions from there. But at the same time, I want to create a similar type community within this YouTube channel, within this YouTube community. We're going to go sometime around the first part of September, and so that gives me about 4 months to get prepared. During that time, I want to test different gear, different packs, different accessories, different clothing, all kind of different things. But I'd like to get your opinion on some of the gear that you've used and that have worked, gear that hasn't worked for you. And of course, I'm kind of almost starting new, and I know that there's budget constraints. I have budget constraints for sure, and so I want to keep that in mind, but also want durability, lightweight, that kind of thing. And I know you can't have all of those in the same deal, but I want to optimize durability, lightweight, and of course the cost. All right, so the parameters that I'm going to have is, feel free to get as specific with the gear recommendations that you want, no matter how obscure it is. But the main things that I'm looking for, at least initially, and depending on the success or failure of this video, I may do some more specific gear recommendations. But the main things that I'm looking for right now are with regard to pack and clothing and sleeping, tent, bivy, sleeping bag, that kind of thing. So right now, those are the main things that I'm interested in getting, and especially the pack. I want to go ahead and get my pack so I can start doing some training, start carrying it, getting used to the pack, getting it fitted, and everything else. And so I'll certainly take your gear recommendations there. Now, there are a few items that I already have that I will likely use for this elk hunt, and of course my bow is one of those. Right now, I will be shooting a Mathews bow. Mathews has been a great supporter of TexasBowhunter.com. They were one of the initial supporters of the Texas Bowhunters Journal back when we published a magazine. Even when we shut down the magazine, they were gracious enough to continue their support through TexasBowhunter.com. We're real grateful for them for that, and so I will be shooting a Mathews bow. Now, the bow that I'll likely take is actually my Mathews HTR no cam. I really like this bow. I like the, it's a little bit lighter than the new Triax. I love the Triax, but it's a little bit heavier, which is not a problem for tree stand or ground blind hunting, and especially here in Texas where you can drive in and don't have to worry about the weight of your gear. But doing a backpack hiking style hunt, climbing up through the elevation in the mountains of Colorado, I want to go with a little bit lighter setup. One thing that I did get last week that I'm really liking, and I'll probably do a little bit of a review on that, is this bow slicker cover and sling. And like I say, I'll do a little bit more of a review on that, but it's kind of nice because it actually it's got this little elastic strap that goes around the limbs and keeps it protected. And so I really like this, as opposed to, I've used the Primos before and some other different manufacturers, but I really like this bow slicker. They provided great customer service when I had a little bit of a mix-up from Amazon, ordering from Amazon, and they got it corrected and shipped me out a new one. But again, I'll make a little separate video on that. Right now I'm shooting a Spot Hog Hoggett sight, 5-pin sight. I'll likely leave that on there unless there's some compelling reason that you might recommend that I change that. Arrows, I use Beman ICS Hunter 340s. I've had really good luck with those. They're 29 inches. More than likely I'll use those unless somebody offers a recommendation on why I shouldn't. And then for broadheads, I'm not real sure. Typically for whitetail, I'll use the Jak Hammer 125. I love the Jak Hammer 125 grain broadheads, but I'm not quite certain if I want to use fixed blade or mechanical blade for elk. My optics, right now I've got a pair of Vortex Fury that I've had for several years. I really like these. I don't see any real reason to change, but again, if you have a compelling reason why you think I should look at something else, feel free to offer those suggestions as well. Now, as far as footwear goes, I think I'm pretty well set on that. I've got these lower Renegades, and again, this is a product that I've had for several years. I don't know, 5-6 years maybe, but I just really haven't worn them all that much. Never really had an opportunity. I wore them hiking in Big Bend several years ago. Now the only problem that I have with these is they have a little bit of a squeak when I walk, and I hadn't been able to get that problem solved. So if I can't get that resolved by the time I go in August or September, or actually even sooner than that, I may be compelled to look at different footwear. But if you have suggestions on how you can eliminate that little squeak when I walk, feel free to offer that. I don't know if that's a common problem with hiking boots or something that's just unique to these. All right, so other gear again that I might be looking for is base layer type clothing, outer shells, rain gear. I think I know what setup that I'm going to use for sleeping, but I'd be interested to see what kind of tents and sleeping bags. I'm not sure what I'm going to use for a bivvy, so if you want to make recommendations for that. Again, any other recommendations that you have, no matter how obscure, feel free to present those, and I may be coming back to you again, depending on how successful this video is, maybe coming back to you for more specific gear recommendations as we go. So once again, I appreciate you joining me on this experiment. Appreciate you following along. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. If you like the content of this video, you know the drill, the whole thing. Hit the little bell notification. That way you'll be sure to get notifications when I post new videos. I do have a couple of really good videos coming up, including a turkey hunt, but also as I start soliciting additional gear recommendations. I'd love to have some interaction with you. So feel free to leave your comments down in the comments section below. If you're a YouTube outdoor content provider and you want to make recommendations through a video, link that down below. Now it may go to spam, so I'll be checking that to make sure, and then go ahead and authorize it if it's a legitimate type video. So again, I appreciate you watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.